Hi again. In this video, we are going to look at what we call action verbs. These are verbs that you should use throughout your resume so you are a more attractive candidate to an employer. We will look at some examples of these verbs and see how we can use them in your resume. We use action verbs in our resumes because they are more specific verbs. They tell the employer a lot about what you do or did in your jobs than general verbs do. For example, if I said, worked at X company or did sales at Y company, that doesn't really tell the employer very much. The verbs are too general or unspecific. However, if I change worked to developed a project at X company, where develop means to grow something, and I can change did to increased sales at Y company, where increase means to make bigger, now it sounds much better. I have a more active role rather than a passive one. I am more in control. Action verbs are usually grouped together by job or skill type. Since many jobs require you to have multiple skills, you will probably be choosing action verbs from different skill types. There are lots of action verbs to choose from, but for our purposes today, we are going to look at a shorter list. As I mentioned earlier, if we choose the verb do or make, it is too general. But we could use a more specific verb like developed or increased. Likewise, I could say in my resume, I wrote a proposal, where proposal means a plan. However, what if I use a more specific verb such as drafted, which means to prepare an early version of a text? So now I write, I drafted a proposal, or I could say I edited a report, where the verb edit means to correct or change a written document. I could also use a general verb like talk, as in I talked with a customer, or I could use a more specific verb like I negotiated with a customer, where negotiate means to try to reach an agreement. Or I corresponded with a new customer, where the verb correspond means to write and respond to communication. I hope you can see how not only are my choice of verbs more specific, but they, more importantly, make my role in this job sound more active. In this video, we looked at action verbs and highlighted their importance when writing your resume. We talked about how using action verbs is much better than general verbs, as they make you sound a more skilled and accomplished worker. Next, we'll play a game to practice using action verbs.